Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Value Flow Trading Market Call for today, the 29th of May, 2026. As we are winding up this particular month, we hope you had a profitable month in this particular month of May, and we hope that everything is working out for your good. Welcome once again to the Value Flow Trading Market Call. My name is CJ, and together with me is Lekon, Cynthia, Abi, and Dewala. And we are going to be taking you through the market color for today, where we're going to be showing you a quick weekly recap where we'll look at the trades that have been taken this week, the moves, the big news, the big announcements, and every other information you need to know as to what has happened this week on the Forex market and the synthetics market as well. We're also going to be showing you possible trades we'll be taking today and projections for the end of the week as we head into a new week next week. So these are the things we aim to cover in today's market call. So sit tight, whether you're joining us from Lagos, Laos, London, New York, welcome to the market color. We're going to start straight into the chart as we kick off our analysis for today with a quick analysis and top down on gold, looking at what has happened this week. Bit of an interesting thing has been happening on gold this week. We have seen gold make some moves that were unprecedented prior to today. This week we're looking towards a much more bullish gold, being facilitated by a couple of things like the news that we're expecting to be released this week. Because of the tension between US and Iran, we're expecting that there was going to be some moves this week that would make gold to rally, and we didn't see that earlier in the week from Monday all through to Wednesday. Even as at Thursday morning, everything was still looking bearish. So hence, we saw gold selling off throughout the week, and it sold off until London session on Thursday. All right, sorry for that interruption. We had a very short glitch in the network. Sorry about that. So we're proceeding with the analysis today. So we said that we were expecting to see gold by this week. However, we saw it sell off only for Monday. Monday it played out according to what we analyzed. Then for Tuesday, Wednesday, we had this quick sell off all the way to this particular price point here. Now we're seeing a reverse. Now, yesterday, we saw a news that an announcement was made that a possible meeting is going to be held from the US and Iranian quarters. So we are expecting to see some negotiations that are tending around the Strait of Hormuz, but we know the real backbone of those negotiations are around the use of nuclear weapons and the creation of same. So we are expecting some positive news that will lead to the end of the war. However, tensions has resumed. That is why we saw the quick spike in go to the upside immediately that news was announced. And that led to a quick break of structure somewhere around here. So hence, we're looking very bullish on gold at this time because of the increased tensions around the world. Now, we are expecting that gold has broken 4-hour structure, so we should see it keep buying. If it doesn't return to this level here, we should see it keep buying, because now is the period where the tension is still fresh. So we're not expecting deep retracements. We just want to see corrections and resumptions to the upside. Now, if you see gold on the 1-hour time frame, it has sold off a little into this high right here and then started buying back up. So we're expecting more and more buys of gold today. We might not expect it to return all the way here today until maybe later. Right now on gold, what we're looking out for is engulfing candle patterns or evening star patterns. Anyone that comes out will be taking a buy on gold from where price currently is, because that is the current theme or the market. If you scroll down all the way to the 5 minute time frame, you see a couple of entry signatures that are printed out prior to now. We had this bullish engulfing right here. We tend to see more of that, and we'll be looking for possible entries from there. Okay, so this is the things that I'm expecting to see on gold, bullish engulfing candles, and evening star patterns will trigger my entries for gold. So I'm looking out for possible entries on gold this morning, and these are the entry patterns I'll be looking out for. Now, quickly, let's run to the yen and see what's going on. Now, the yen is not isolated from big news in the market. The Japanese government announced that they are very concerned about the weakening effect that the interventions has caused over the last couple of weeks, and how that the FX rate is going down and plunging to the downside more and more. So they're looking for possible things that they could do to intervene. So we started seeing bullishness on the yen basket. This resulted into bearishness on the yen pairs. However, for today, we are kind of having a mixed reaction, because you could see how that the yen basket bought strongly yesterday on 4-hour time frame, breaking structure. Then it sold sharply afterwards. Now we're waiting to see what the balance is going to be. And to get clear interpretation on that, we have to switch to GBP JPY and the Euro JPY so that they give us clear interpretation. Now, if you're looking at GBP JPY, of course, we had a bullish momentum. However, we saw all the things that has happened in the past couple of weeks. Right now, as at yesterday, we saw this doji candle that was created. At this point, we will be neglecting the effect of candlesticks formations at this point, because we have a very heavy fundamental influence on what is going on in the yen pairs at this time. So we just trade it according to what we are seeing as an interpretation of the news at the time. So for GBP JPY right now, you can see that it's currently selling. So we might have to follow that sell, considering what is going on in the news. The government is trying to intervene and make the currency stronger, or at least at a flat rate. So we might see GBP JPY selling a little bit more at this time. So with that, we'll be looking forward to sell setups on GBP JPY. One of the places I'm expecting it to bounce off from is right here. I'm expecting it to sell up into this level here, and then we'll possibly get a buy. Okay, so long as the government's intervention is still around the corner, we'll be expecting further sales on GBP JPY. Okay, and we'll be selling it off retracement, and then I'll be joining the GBP JPY sale to the point of interest that I just marked out. Now we're expecting something very similar for Euro JPY, and then for all the other yen pairs at this time. So for GBP JPY this morning, I'm expecting a retracement here, and then I'll be selling it off. Okay, any retracement around this region would engineer itself for me at GBP JPY to the downside, or around this other block right here. Okay. All right, these are the things that I'm expecting on GBP JPY and Euro JPY. Right away, we're going to be going into an analysis of dollar index and dollar related pairs. As you can see quickly on Euro JPY, it's looking more of the sell, and we'll be willing to sell it all the way to our point of interest, which is for Euro JPY. It is right here at this other block here, and then we'll be taking a buy. The overall bias is still a buy, but looking at what's happening right now, we might be enticed to take this quick sell and then the buy up later on. Okay, these are the things that we're expecting to play out. So for gold this morning, we've shown you what we're expecting. Bullishness on gold, we're expecting buys. Euro JPY and GBP JPY, we're expecting sales, but those sales are going to be short-lived because the overall bias is a buy. So we're expecting a sell to buy from our various points of interest. I've shown you where we're going to be looking to take these trades from, and I've also shown you the possible trades that I'm expecting today. All right, and we hope that you're able to take advantage of it and make the most profit from these trades that we've analyzed so far. Quickly, we're going to be moving our analysis over to US dollar, where we're looking at the US dollar index and starting off with US dollar index, of course. And for that, we're going to be having Cynthia, who will be coming on board to share with us our analysis on the dollar related pairs. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, CJ. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for that very wonderful analysis. Just as you mentioned, this is just going to be a recap of what was analyzed on Monday. And I really hope that we're taking advantage of every price point that has been called out, so that the price, and rather so that the market doesn't go without you being in the trade and taking opportunities and making money from the market. With that being said, Yes, head straight to DXY to see what price has for us this morning. Right. So if you remember on Monday, we actually said that we were expecting a buy to sell on Monday. That was the analysis that we had. And coming down to the weekly time frame, I'm still of the opinion that price should retrace into this left shoulder over time. But on the weekly time frame, the most recent price action seems to be in a range. So we should see a sweep of liquidity and we should see price finding its way to this left shoulder and even this other block right here on the weekly time frame at 107.490, right? Coinciding with another block and a weekly time frame, as you can see, this markup right here. On the daily time frame, however, we actually analyzed and saw that price had tapped into this left shoulder right here at 98.890, and we've seen some move to the upside, right? But into this week, we actually see that price had been consolidating for a very long time. We had been seeing consolidation instead. We've been seeing that price has been consolidating right here on the daily time frame, not seeing any move, any momentous move to the upside. And on the 4-hour time frame, as you can see right here, this week has just been a consolidation on the US dollar, right? Price has just been consolidating without any actual move to the downside as we speculated. But eventually, we should see price moving into this level, 97.824, right? We should see price moving into this level. Into next week, even into today, we should see price moving. Price and the market actually closes today, but into next week, I'm of the opinion that price should move right into 97.824, right? I'm still looking out for a sell into this level, and we should see price gaining strength to the upside into next week. So our analysis for this week was actually a buy to sell, right? But all we saw price doing was consolidating, building liquidity, of course, right? So we should see a sharp move into this level, and then we should see price reacting all the way to the upside. Let's see what GBP USD did. Our analysis was actually a sell to buy on GBP USD on Monday. So we're going to see what played out during the course of the week. On the weekly time frame, still looking at this price point for price to trade into long term. I'm still like going over this week on week so that once that eventually happens, we are right on time to take positions in the market. However, the most recent price action is just stalling, right? Consolidating, building liquidity to be grabbed. And on the daily time frame, we actually spotted this left shoulder for a buy, shoulder at 1.32569, sharp sweep to the downside, break to the upside, right? Price tapped into this level and we saw this push to this left shoulder for a sell right here, right? Price tapped into this level and we're seeing some reaction. Eventually, we should see price clearing out the low at 1.31778 and subsequently target the low right here, right? However, since we had a bullish bias, that didn't really play out as we speculated. Instead, price tapped into 61.8% fib level and we're seeing the push to the downside. So into next week, this is just to tell us that price didn't do what we actually analyzed that it was going to do. Instead, we're seeing even more push to the downside, right? Price should clear this low right here at 1.33110 on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see if we can spot an an entry for the sell-off of GBP USD on 1 hour time frame, and based on the bulk strategy that we usually use for analysis during my own session, I can't spot any. Heading straight to the 15 minutes time frame, let's see if we can see an entry, right? There is none that has materialized at the moment. There is none that has materialized at the moment for the sale of GBP USD. If that materializes, be rest assured that we are going to call it out during our trade calls, right? So basically, this is what we're seeing. We had a buy bias for GBP USD, and that didn't happen. Let's head straight to Euro USD to see what price has done for us. Weekly time frame on Euro USD, we still are of the opinion that price should retrace into 1.06616, and on the daily time frame, price tapped into this level and we're seeing some push to the downside. On the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing more bearish moves, I beg your pardon, instead of the bullish move that we speculated was going to take place during the course of the week on Monday. And on the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing that price is being caught in a range all through the week. Price was just caught in a range, right? We saw this move to the downside and back into the range. Right, so there was nothing much for Euro USD this week. Right from Monday, even on the 1-hour time frame, it's just been consolidating. However, I'm still of the opinion that we should see some push to the downside, right? If it is not obvious, it is dubious. I'm not clear on what Euro USD wants to do, but it should eventually choose and pick a direction, right? Seeing that it is consolidating, I can actually spot something for a short-term buy rather. Shoulder right here at 1.16094, sweep to the downside, break to the upside. Once price retraces into this level, we should take a short-term buy on Euro USD. Right, we're going to call out the stop loss and take profit levels on the EFT market color group. So if you're not active there, please keep your eyes glued there. I will be dropping it any moment from now. With that being said, I've come to the end of my market recap. Lekon, what are you seeing in the synthetics market so that traders can actually take opportunities over the weekend?
All right,
Thank you
good
very
morning,
much.
Cynthia.
Lekon.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome once again to the Markets Call brought to you by the Value Trading Team. That was an insightful analysis, by the way, Cynthia, and I'm also taking note of your price level because we got to make this money together. All right. Going straight into the synthetic market. What has been going on in the synthetic market so far, so good. The past few days has been a bit quiet. However, some of these setups have been cooked. Like now they are getting ripe for us to take, especially on pairs like VIS 75, 75 1X, and VIS 5090. Then we'll look at 15. Just a quick recap of maybe we should start with VIS 15. Just a recap of what we had on Monday. Remember, on Monday we were expecting price to come and trade into this our POI to go and take out this liquidity. So that was what happened. On Tuesday, we saw how that price tapped into our POI and delivered straightly where we wanted to go to, which is our 1:3, right? And that is the recap of VIS 15 1S. However, I'm already spotting another entry for VIS 15 right now, and that is simply where price is coming to right away. Remember this last swing to the downside that happens to be a sweep of liquidity that we have somewhere around this zone here, right? We saw how that price swept liquidity somewhere around in this zone here. There's actually something more like an update for if you're a trader that I've observed in time just some days ago, and I share this with those who are on our the training, the ongoing FS Bootcamp training, of which I will also advise if is much better for you to watching us today to sign up for that training, how that we get specific levels to know if any of these kind of move is either a liquidity sweep or just a market structure shift or so. Okay, but right now that is that. If you want to get more insight into that, you can just sign up for any of our training and we get that for you. So like we have here now, we can see that this already took out liquidity here, and we already have a market structure shift to the downside. So we're expecting that as price already bought all through to this level now, we want to see it, trade into this fair value gap on the 4 hour. This is not just a fair value gap, this is an RFED, just the way we know it to be, and we're expecting price to trade into it. And if you go to your lower time frame on 2 hours, it makes much more sense around that level because we have a very clean shoulder at that zone too. All right, so we have this there, all right, and we've seen a clear market structure shift. So all we are waiting for now is price should trade into this zone and give us an entry signature for a sell. All right, so I'm of the opinion when price get to this zone, let's wait to get our entry signature for a sell. And what are we doing? We are riding it all the way back down. So just do your 1:2 and go out of the trade, because from the trade right now, is more like forming, there's high probability we end up in a higher time frame consolidation on this 151S, meaning when price get to somewhere around here or gets to take out this low here, then we are going to see it turn back up again, because I'm spotting a buy signature this down here too again. But just do your 1:2 or 1:3 and get out of the trade when price gives the entry signature here. Remember, once again, reason why we are taking this particular entry also is that we have our confluence right there. So we have our confluence right there supporting our trade very good and very, very well. All right, that's for VIS 15. Now back to VIS 75. What is going on VIS 75? On Tuesday, I was waiting for this sell coming down on VIS 75 to come and trade into this my 1 hour shoulder level so that I can follow through. However, price just got here and it pushed all the way back up. But this sell coming down is very certain. Don't let me use the word very certain because we're in a game of probability. I'm of the opinion that we should see price sell all the way into this zone. Then we can look for our buy opportunity this weekend all the way back up with our stop loss just below this low, and we'll continue the buy push all the way to the upside. What is fueling this buy push? If you go to your daily time frame, then it becomes much more clearer to you there to know what exactly price is doing on the daily time frame. So in a nutshell, I'm of the opinion, just let's wait a little bit and see how that price does this and we'll follow through that way. Okay, so this is a sell to buy for VIS 75 bonus. Remember, few days ago VIS 75 has just been quiet, and that happens very well in the market when your asset class is not giving you any entry or any opportunity for you to get your share of the market. It's simply telling you calm down, is going to cook for you to take. All right, so that is that for VIS 75. Now to 75 1S. What are we seeing on 75 1S? If you look at our structure on 4 hour long time ago, we've been expecting this particular sell. We actually waited for it all the way for it to tap into this our reference point. And what is that our reference point? You can see this is a sweep of liquidity below here. Yes, most of us call it double bottom. Yes, it is, but there is a way we know that is a sweep of liquidity, of which I shared in that trade. All right, and what you can now see is you've seen another reference point around that zone, that level. So I'm of the opinion that I'm still expecting a sell-off of V751S all the way to this zone. Then we can now resume the buy proper. Okay, so right now, what exactly, we won't just hold our hands and see V75 sold all the way to that level. So what I'm looking out to do is, let me see more push to the upside for price to come and take out this liquidity point and tap proper into this other block. Then we begin our sell party. Okay, so this is what I'm looking out to see on V75 1S for the weekend. I want to see price trade into this other block, and then we begin our sell party all the way to the downside. However, looking at this structure that we have here, what is happening at this point is kind of giving us some level of concern, meaning what I'm trying to see somewhere here is also a narrative. This is giving us a narrative. What we have playing out somewhere here is also giving us a narrative. It's simply saying that you can test the water within this zone, but the real opportunity lies at this top. So that is going to take me to us analyzing this zone on the lower time frame. Now, this zone on the lower time frame for the sell, meaning there is high probability we see the sell party start around this level here. And this is what I'm seeing on the, as a matter of fact, this is just a low probability trade, right? And just the way we have it right here. And we've seen our breakup structure somewhere here. Okay, so this is just a low probability trade, and I'm expecting that price has the high tendency of coming to tap into that other block that you're seeing there, and then into this fair value gap here. I know some of you like, has it not tapped this fair value gap? No, it hasn't. So there's high probability we see price do something of this nature here, right? And we have something of this nature here, meaning price will just tap into. So this is just a low probability trade, so that we won't be left behind in the sell party if price just wants to do this and start selling. But the ultimate move remains what we are seeing on the 2 hours time frame, which is this zone of our sell, and we are expecting price to sell all the way. When it gets to this particular level, we want to see a sell opportunity. So this is it, and where is our overall target? We are targeting all the way to the 4-hour POI, where we have our buy zone. All right, so these are the two outlook for 75 in the 75 1S this morning. And next one, before we call it a day, we have VIX50 1S. Okay, now for this 51S, we've seen the massive sell-off. So far so good, and I'm still of the opinions, just the way we have our structure lying just here, I'm of the opinion that price still has high probability to come and take out liquidity at this point here. Then we begin the sell party somewhere around this zone. Okay, so we begin the sell party somewhere here when price takes out this liquidity around this zone, and we start selling at that other block on the 2-hour time frame. Okay, so that is it for this 50 this volatility 50 index. Okay, so when price get to this zone, look for your opportunity to start selling what we have at that particular level. So the price point is price taking out the 78,000 level. When price takes out 78,000 level, then we look for opportunity to start selling all the way back down, knowing fully well that our daily time frame bias is still very much off a sell. Okay, we've not seen a clear market structure shift, so we want to still follow the market all the way to the downside. And based on what we have that played out around this zone, this is a real concern for the sell too. So I want to see price, do something similar like this when price should come and play out the narrative of what we have, this candlestick pattern that we have here. We want to see price come there and tap into liquidity and start collapsing all the way to the downside. All right, and for VIX90, so we have like about 4 to 5 opportunities this morning for the synthetic indices. VIX90 also, what I'm seeing on VIX90, you can see the higher time frame. We look at it from the higher time frame, you see price pushing all the way to the upside. But of recent, we saw a market structure shift. So I'm of the opinion we should allow price, pull back all the way into our POI. And our POI, looking at what we have at this point, is currently at this order block. So I want to see price, tap into this 30-minute order block for this 90 1S, and then our SL will be above all this top here because price actually, reacted to this. We've seen a market structure shift here. It came all the way, grab liquidity, sold off, grab liquidity, sold off, and it's coming for this third leg. We can easily follow through to the downside. So in a nutshell, we are looking to sell this 91S. For VIX50, we are also looking for a sell opportunity on VIX50. This 151S, we're also looking for a sell opportunity, sell to buy. And VIX75 1S, sell, all right? Sell to buy on 4 hour. Then VIX75 index itself, we are looking for opportunity to buy. So this is it. The opportunities continues. And remember, the market opens 247 in the synthetic. It's only the currency that closes by 11 p.m. 10 p.m. tonight. But this market open 247. Trade it. Weekend, come Saturday, come Sunday, wherever you are, anywhere you are, get connected, trade, and take up the opportunity. All right, right about now, we'll be going into the indices market to see what is happening in the market and also what are the opportunities there that we can jump on for today as we round up the week in the indices market. Having to give us that, let's hear from Demola this morning. Good morning, Demola.
Morning, Lekon. Thank you for that analysis on the indices market, on the synthetic side. All right, very well. We'll be looking at recap for the week on the indices market. The places we marked, the areas we looked at, we highlighted on Monday. Some of them played out, some of them were violated. We just look quickly at those and then we'll call it a week after the commodity analysis is being done. All right, very, very well. On US 30, we had this markup on Monday, wanted to buy from this other block. And then seeing that price was in a new area of discovery. So we just wanted to use the quickest and the closest reference points, that's area of interest, that might, that price might want to trigger from, and then we use that to, enter the market. Interestingly, it was violated. I thought this area would have even, been a strong area to hold price still. Price still violated it a bit with just a week or so, but then invariably came back and then violated it properly, right? The entire area, which I'm not surprised about because this was the previous all-time high area, right? The previous area where we had all-time high. My price feed is still loading. Okay, this was the previous all-time high, and then it was violated. Price came back to retest it. So I believe any jump we see from this zone now, any bullish movement we see from this zone, we want to take it more seriously because I know very well the price might not come back again, and then we'll see that push to the upside. All things remaining the same, meaning Iran and US are able to come to a compromise, be able to find a deal, and it's been approved by President Trump. That being the case, then we should see the rally to the upside, right? So that's it about US 30. On NAS 100, we just looked at it on Monday. There wasn't any clear area of interest so far for NAS on Monday. We looked at it briefly. Price reacted off from this other block, which is fine. I didn't see this. I wasn't even focused on NAS. It was on S&P 500 that I was more focused on. We bagged the 1:5 hour on that. I'll be looking at it very shortly after this pair. So on NAS 100, price has tested this zone, and then this area of interest, we've seen a rally to the upside, which is beautiful. I mean, it's a good rally. And all things being equal, we can see this other block there. Price might still want to retest this other block for it to continue its movement to the upside by Monday. Right? We have this area that price can retest, and then you see a confirmation by Monday, right? And so that's another possibility. If for any reason price don't use this other block, the next one will just be price taking out this internal liquidity, right? Once price takes out this internal liquidity, then would see a push to the upside. So that's another possibility. So internal liquidity, then a break, then we expect price to come back into this zone and then give us that push, meaning this area of interest would have been validated already. Because typically NAS 100, S&P 500, and US 30 during moments of high volume, they tend to just use the closest area of interest rather than coming down to test other reference points like fair value gaps and other blocks, right? So that being said, we'll look at the final one for today, and then we'll call it a wrap. All right, S&P 500. Remember on Monday, we had 2 areas of interest on S&P 500. One for our time frame where we said that price is going to retest this gap here, this gap. Remember, I have these two marked out. On the 4-hour time frame, this was the gap I referenced, this inefficiency, and then that was exactly what price used, right? 1:5 hour. Of course, somebody will say, oh, why didn't you capture all of this move? The truth is, this was like the closest and the realistic what's it called, and take profit, right? An objective take profit. This remaining is still subjective. Price would as well just tap take profit and then start reversing, right? There's every tendency for that to have happened, right? So that's why we use an objective target, and then probably we've taken 80-90% off the table. We can now allow the remaining 10% to run towards whatever target price might want to project to, right? That being said, we had this area marked out on the 4-hour time frame. This was our first reference point on the 4-hour time frame. This gap, which we know price is going to fill eventually, and that was what happened. Got filled, and then the delivered 1:5 hour. Helps us to cancel out the loss we had on US 30, right? If you follow both analysis. And on the 1-hour time frame, we still had this other bigger gap here, right? This fair value gap on the 1-hour time frame, right? So it was 2 areas of interest that we have covered up, and then price eventually did its thing and came into our zone, almost did as if it was going to kick us out, and then we saw that push right to the upside, giving us a very beautiful trade. So that's like the recap for this week. Into next week, we'll be getting more data, and then, like you know already, the market is bullish. All things being equal, I expect this bullishness to still continue into Q3, right? except we have one sudden news again that might want to destabilize the markets. But everything being equal, we should see the rally resume even much more further, especially with the solution that is coming up with Iran and US, right? They are both coming together to see that a deal is being, made such that the whole military action and war and everything would stop, right? So if that's the case, then we should see our rally to the upside continuing. All right, that's pretty much what we have going on for today. Across the board, US 30, NAS 100 and S&P 500. This week we had -1R on US 30 and then +5R on S&P 500, right? And then we took 0 trade on NAS 100. On into the next week, we'll see more opportunities, and then of course, ensure you join the market call so you can capture this information and then also utilize it, make more informed decisions with it. Lastly, for today, we're looking at commodity assets. Over to Abigail. I believe strongly she has something really good for us on that asset class. All right, over to you, Abigail. How is the commodity market doing?
Hello, Demola. Commodity market is doing great. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome once again to the VFT market color session. So very quickly, we're going to see what happened on these asset classes, AUD, USD, NZ, USD, and USD CAD, and what we're looking at the market doing moving into next week. So starting off with a look at AUD, USD, we had a sell bias for AUD, USD on Monday, because of the fundamental news releases that we were expecting to come out and eventually came out weaker than expected. So we had unemployment and employment change, fundamental news release, which basically signified some weakness going into the Aussie currency. And just like we expected, the AUD-USD was able to do 70 pips plus to the downside. This is about 74 pips that AUD-USD sold, and we're able to make some money off this market. And for NZD-USD, NZD-USD was able to do 45 pips thereabouts. You can see how it came to retest the key level around this zone and also sold off here for the 6 pips before it hit a support level and continued to buy. And then for USD CAD, you see how price also retested a key level. We're going to take it back in time. This is the level that we had marked out on Monday. Price came and retested this support level multiple times. It gave us multiple entries for this buy move of this asset class. And you see how much it bought for 60 plus pips before we now hit a key level on H1 where it sold from and has now traded back into another zone. So going back to AUD-USD, this has happened. The sell has now occurred. What do we now expect moving forward for this particular asset class? When you come to the H4 time frame, you'll see that this change of character is still very much valid. There has been no break above a key major level. So price is still expected or is still looking like it's going to keep selling downward. Now, this now becomes a key area I'm going to be watching out for. When AUD-USD sells and takes out this major zone, then I know for sure that there'll be more confirmatory break of structures to the downside headed towards our next major point of interest all the way down here. And then when you go on the H1 time frame of AU, price is currently in what could serve as a point of interest or is a point of interest. All of the indicators are currently intertwined here. So price is currently inside this zone. I'm expecting that AUD-USD is going to continue to sell from where it currently is downward, coming down to take out this structure point. However, if price fails to trade below and we see a break above these key levels to the upside, of course, would see the signal that price is starting to change, its direction. So very quickly, I'm going to mark out specific points of interest that you should watch out for on the 5-minute time frame. This high has been marked out. That is yesterday's high marked out, yesterday's low, also marked out into today's price movement. Let's see how this happens. So make sure you have your eyes on that today and see if we have some opportunities to make some cool money from this market, some change for the weekend. So this is marked out, this is marked out, this is also marked out, and this is drawn into today's price action, right? So price is currently, it's already traded into yesterday's high, and we already see the reactions happening. If price is able to break through this key indicator, which is the trend and the pullback in the same place, if it's able to break through this level to the downside at the barest minimum, we're going to see more sell-offs from where it currently is all the way into our next major support level, which is 30 pips away. And if it takes out this zone, we're targeting the next support level on the 5-minute time frame for it to continue to sell. However, if price fails to take out this zone and this pullback serves as support to push AUD/USD to the upside, we're going to see break of structures, take out these zones. It's not a lot, so we can wait for this to happen for us to be more on the short side. That is for the buy. So take out this zone, give us a retest, confirmatory entry on 1-minute time frame for us to know that AUD/USD buy is going to resume. And then moving into NZD/USD on the H4 time frame. So because of the connection with AUD/USD as an asset class, I'm now expecting that NZD/USD is going to start its own sell now. And when you see on the H4 time frame, sunshine has been printed. And what does this sunshine indicator signify? For those of us who are students of the Forex Bootcamp course, it basically signifies profit taking. So people who came to buy this entire move and pushed it all the way to where it currently is are starting to take their profit out of the market. So I'm expecting NZD/USD to give us a sell. You should keep your eyes out for this particular asset class, right? There's going to be a sell from here. It may push higher a bit more, of course. However, a sell is going to happen. And once I see my confirmations, I'll be buying NZD/USD. And my higher time frame point of interest will be right here at 0.58877. On the 5-minute time frame, same whole repetitive thing I did on the other asset class. I'm going to mark out yesterday's high into today, mark out yesterday's low as well, because these are key levels, support resistance zones that would matter in how this market moves. Mark out this zone as well, and also these points of interest. So these have all been marked out now, right? I'm saying NZD/USD is going to sell or should sell, all things being equal. By the time this level gets taken out, if I want to be more on the conservative side, I'm going in for a sell of NZD/USD. However, I'm pretty sure M1 would have given us some sort of confirmation that the sell is about to resume. But if you're taking this M1 entry as at now, without waiting for the 5-minute confirmation, you should keep in mind that it is an aggressive entry, and of course, adjust your risk management accordingly. So the 1-minute time frame is loading. Let's give it a second as that happens. Okay, so this is what we're seeing on the 1-minute time frame. Price is still mixed up with indicators. By the time we see a break and a retest, a break below this indicator and a retest, then you could be getting ready for a sell. But I say just wait for price to come and retest even this one. By then, I'll trade into that first key POI on M5, and then we'll look for entries to start to sell NZD/USD, targeting this zone. Now, this sell is temporal, targeting this key point of interest that we have, or even the 5-minute POIs, because remember, resistance can become support, and a previous support can still hold. So we'll see what the market does. This strategy is very beautiful for scalping. Very, very beautiful. Looking at USD CAD on the H4 time frame now, what do we see? Now, price is still buying. This is still respected. And I'm looking at the next major resistance zone. So this is going to be a level I watch out for. This price has now retraced into a support level. Our pullback indicator is our support level right here, and it's currently moving up from that zone. If we were early or a bit earlier to look at this asset class, this is where we would have started looking for entries to start the buy of USD CAD. Going to 5-minute time frame now, I don't think it's still too late, right? On the 5-minute time frame, I've already marked out our key levels, yesterday's high, low, day before yesterday's high, and low as well. So price already started trading off this zone that we saw on H1, yeah? I think that there's going to be a retracement eventually. Price could move here, and then come and give us a pullback. By the time that pullback occurs, either into the momentum indicator or buy into this zone and come and retrace this key support level, I'm going to be going in for USD CAD buy. So the market is presenting very beautiful buy and sell opportunities today. Make sure you take advantage of that. With that being said, thank you so much for joining this analysis by the VFT Academy, myself, and my co-traders. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing time with every one of us here. We also have a major training coming up this year, the Ultimate Traders course. It comprises everything you need to know about trading Forex and about trading the synthetic indices market. And if you're somebody who has been wanting to learn and everything we've been saying here is sounding like magic, I encourage you to enroll for that course. You will not regret it, because it will take you through every single thing that you need to know to start your trading journey and be able to make, weekly cash flow. Okay, again, thank you for joining. I look forward to seeing you on Monday, 8:30 a.m. New African time. Have an amazing weekend. Don't forget to spend time studying this market. Cheers and God bless. I remain Abigail or Sabi Abi. Goodbye for now.